Trump's 34 charges explained, 5 questions answered.
And a couple of words of advice to the prosecutor at the end. Question 1. What do all 34 charges have in common against the ex-president? Well, that's falsifying business records in the first degree in violation of Penal Law 175.10. The prosecution assert the ex-president repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal criminal conduct that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election, as per the prosecution's statement of facts. Question 2. What do the prosecution say were the ex-president's criminal motives? Most prosecutions allege a criminal motive, and this one against the ex-president is no different. The underlying motive behind the alleged falsification of the ex-president's business records is the prosecution's catchy phrase, the catch and kill scheme, to suppress negative information. From the prosecution's statement of facts from August 2015 to December 2017, the defendant orchestrated a scheme with others to influence the 2016 presidential election by identifying and purchasing negative information about him to suppress its publication and benefit the defendant's electoral prospects. For purchasing negative information, think hush money. Question 3. What is the prosecution's general narrative against the ex-president? Really good prosecutions have an easy to understand narrative or account, a story based on what they say are facts supported by evidence they will present to a jury at trial to prove the guilt of a defendant. Here, the prosecution narrative is about the ex-president acting as the orchestrator to suppress negative information about him with 2 main participants, his former lawyer and fixer known as Lawyer A, Michael Cohen, and CEO of America Media Incorporated, AMI, which owns and publishes stories in the National Enquiry. There are other alleged participants, but let's keep it simple. The prosecution basic narrative is the ex-president with his 2 main participants effectively silenced or suppressed negative information from 3 individuals about the ex-president. A doorman paid $30,000 who was trying to sell information regarding a child the ex-president had allegedly fathered out of wedlock with an exclusive right to the story. Woman 1 paid $150,000 in exchange for her agreement not to speak out about the alleged sexual relationship with the ex-president, and woman 2 paid $130,000 for the right to her account, which again alleged sexual encounter with the ex-president. As gratitude and payment, the prosecution narrative further alleges the ex-president invited the AMI CEO to the inauguration, and shortly after being elected president, the defendant arranged to reimburse Lawyer A, that's Michael Cohen, for the payoffs he made on the defendant's behalf. Question 4. Why do the prosecution say the president's activities were crimes? According to the prosecution's statement of facts, the participants, including the ex-president, violated election laws and made and caused false entries in the business records of various entities in New York. The participants also took steps that mischaracterized for tax purposes the true nature of the payments made in furtherance of the scheme. And you can read the details of the prosecution accusations against the ex-president in the 34 charges, centering on the same recurring phrases: an intent to defraud, false entry in the business record, and then referring to particular documents allegedly falsified, account check and check stubs, the detailed general ledger and invoices. Question 5. Who will be the main witness for the prosecution? That will likely be the ex-president's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, known as Lawyer A, and how he, according to the prosecution, was compensated and reimbursed for those hush money payments, which, according to the prosecution case, were not legal fees, but the payment records kept and maintained by the Trump organization were false New York business records. In truth, there was no retainer agreement and Lawyer A was not being paid for legal services rendered in 2017. The defendant caused his entity's business records to be falsified to disguise his and other criminal conduct. And one final piece of advice for the prosecutor: keep your ego in check Don't aspire to be a celebrity prosecutor. Don't be drawn in and become the main story. Keep it simple and let the prosecution evidence do the talking. Watch How to Successfully Defend Trump at Trial. Feel free to comment, follow, like and share.